Yo, yo, yo. We are back. Final episode of season one.
Season one.
Season one, man. We wrapping it up, man. But this is Val.
And it's your boy, Sad Boy Z.
Sad Boys ENT. But we back, man. It's been a different kind of week, man. We've had some tough weeks, man, as we reflect in the last we've been recording now for about 9 months. So we've had some tough weeks, with everything else going on. That's taking place in the last 9 months. But we here to bite down and chew on this loss just a little bit. We're not even going to hold nobody for too long. This probably will be, and I know we've said we probably had some short episodes before, but this will probably definitely be our shortest episode. I don't think we need to go into too much detail, but the Bills lost, of course. If you didn't know, if you've been in a I don't know if you've been in a coma for 4 days. I don't know, but the Bills lost, man. And it was a tough one. So Z, I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna get the shit out the way so we can move forward. Obviously, I saw you at the tailgate, man. We took a couple shots together. Shout out to you and Greg stopping by. Um, Good atmosphere in the beginning, right? Good spirits, and then
The the environment was perfect. Vibe was good. It wasn't too cold. The perfect amount of snow where it's not crazy, but it's still nice, wintry, snowy vibe.
right,
It was a beautiful January day in Buffalo,
it really was.
right before a big Saber or a big Bills win. And yeah, that ain't happened.
Nah,
That ain't happened at all.
nope,
Not even close.
nope.
They, I feel like them boys ain't even get off the bus.
Well, they ain't even have to get on the bus because it was a home game, but I know what you mean. Like you feel like they ain't
I feel
even,
like them boys ain't even get out the whip.
yeah, right, stayed in bed type shit.
I feel like I've never seen that team that stale,
Yeah,
like all the way around.
it's been a couple years. I'll probably say the closest I've seen them in that fashion might have been like the Colts game from a year and a half ago. But like to
Yeah,
do that in the playoffs, um, you know,
yeah.
energy.
It looked like there was just no juice. Like the energy wasn't there. They definitely feel like they didn't match the intensity that Cincinnati brought.
Right,
It just felt like a stagnant, stale nothing.
right.
I'm watching them play. I'm like, yo,
You just
the
waiting
hell
for
you
it to
doing?
start. And you thought maybe with the run by Josh in that second quarter, even me, trying to be the positive person I am, I'm thinking, okay, boom, we get that touchdown. I'm thinking this might be a turning point because
Right.
I got a Cincy fan in my ear, a couple rows behind me. He ready to, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, all right, here we go, y'all. We about to have a game. Let's get loud, pump it up, because the
Because
crowd
all
was
I'm thinking,
ready.
like, yo, they make that score, get it stop here,
Let's get
get
it.
another touchdown on the board before
Right.
halftime. You
Let's
get the
cut the
ball
lead to
back in the
three or
third.
whatever. Yeah, you get the ball in the third. So like, I'm gonna be honest. I tried to keep a positive mindset. Like that first quarter was rough, but in the midst of it, I'm like, okay, let me think about what I went through this season, and
Right.
I ain't really think too much about it. But I'm like, seeing Josh come from 17 in Baltimore in the rain. I've seen this same team, just battle through having rough starts. And I think, obviously eventually it can catch up, but I've seen this team come off sluggish in the first half, figure it out, boom, and get rolling. Like I said, the Baltimore game is really the one that stood out to me. But I'm like, if anything, I got Josh Allen, right? So anything is possible. But I also think that same thought is the problem with this team, and we'll spend a few minutes on looking forward, but that's part of the problem, right? It's like we rely too much on hoping our quarterback can turn it on at any given moment to
Yeah,
save us
bail
from,
us out.
to bail us out from playing sluggish. And it's like, bro, we can't do that moving forward. Like, I know we got off to a great start this year. The first 3 weeks was awesome. Then we dealt with some injuries and then everything else happened. But like, the mood in that game really changed in that third quarter when it really started to settle in. Like this offense is really moving the ball, and this defense can't stop a nosebleed. And I think that was the tough part for me too. Is like I know Cincy is good for coming up with good game plans, but I'm like defensively, if we can just get off the field on third down, we might make this a game, but we could not get a
It was
stop.
third down after third down. You got Joe
Bro, I
Mixon
was
running
tired of
off
pumping up the
6, 7,
crowd.
8 yards of carry.
Yeah, and I was tired of pumping up the crowd because I'm like, all right, I'm trying to do my part as a fan and make noise or trying to have people make noise around me, but I'm just like, but anytime I get a little excited, first down, touchdown, first down, touchdown. I'm like, oh, I bet. So y'all want me to look like a fool. I heard you. Copy. Yeah, copy. So I gotta
Copy.
look like the dummy. But now, like, I mean, overall, outside of the juice that was missing, what do you think what would you take away as your main reason? Like, we ain't even gonna go in no order. Like, what's your main reason why you feel like we took that loss and lost by 17 at home?
Well, one, I mean, you can't expect to beat anybody scoring only 10 points.
Never.
Like, uh, I mean, at the end of the day, you're the second highest scoring offense in the league, and you can't muster more than 10 points in
Yeah,
the playoffs
yeah,
at home.
you ain't being nobody. You ain't even being nobody with 10 points in the regular season.
Right. So, I mean, first and foremost, I know a lot of people want to complain about not being able to stop Cincinnati. It don't matter. You scored 10 points.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it should damn near don't matter what your defense do. Your defense give up 2 touchdowns, you still not winning.
Yeah, because if the offense would have scored 28, we win the game, right? I mean, if you want to
Right.
look at it that way.
Yeah. So like the offense not scoring more than 10 is the biggest letdown. I mean, you got one of the best receivers in the league in Diggs, and still not even giving him a chance to do what he need to do.
Yeah, four
Like I
catches.
understand that coverage dictates that, but at the end of the day, you got to give your best player a chance to be the man.
But and you also got to get creative, man. I always go back to, and I'll let you finish. I always go back to game planning, coaching when it comes to when players get eliminated. Because I'm like, in important games, going back to last year, what happened in the divisional round against Kansas City when he only had 2 catches. In important games, you cannot let your best receiver touch the ball 2 or 3 times. I don't care what they doing. Get my man involved in some reverses, some wide receiver screens, whatever you got to do. Continuously move him around for 4 quarters, but you can't let a team say, "Oh, we're going to take away your best guy in the most important game for y'all season," and yeah, have fun throwing to Isaiah McKenzie and Cole Beasley. You know what I mean? Like Gabe made a couple good catches, and shout out to Gabe for showing up at times when we needed him during the stretch. But it's like moving forward, I really, 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 really hope Dorsey, if he's going to be the offensive coordinator, figures out a way to keep his number one receiver happy. And I'm saying that like the guy didn't have 11 touchdowns and over 100 catches. We know he had a great year. But the crazy thing is just like Josh, he could have had an even better year. That's the scary
Yeah,
part. It's like
there's a
you
lot
look
of
at
meat
that,
left on the bone.
a lot of meat left on the bone, as they like to say. So you look at Josh numbers, could have been better. You look at Steph numbers, could have been better, especially in big games. Like I don't care about when we play the Steelers and we beating them by 20. Cool, let him have his 3 catches. But in close games, similar to Detroit, similar to it was a couple other games, Kansas City, Green Bay at times. Like in big games, I need y'all to figure out a way to get 14 the ball. And because that has cost them in the last couple of years. Like I really think like not so much last year against Kansas City because Gabe Davis was able to exploit his matchups and play wonderful, but those 4 touchdown games ain't just happening. Like that's a once in a lifetime type shit. Like niggas is just not scoring 4 touchdowns for 230 or
It's off
40.
rip.
Yeah, like that shit don't happen. Like Gabe had the game of his life. He may never replicate that game ever in his NFL career. So, and we'll get into Diggs' whole situation after the game, but like that was part of my frustration was like, how do you have a top 2, top 3 receiver and you can't figure out a way to get him more touches in that second half, especially when you need a spark. Like, I don't know if they just look at him as just a possession receiver or just we just gonna take 2, 3 D shot digs and then just call it a day. But it's like, no, get creative with it. Like I go back to when I saw him in Minnesota and when Minnesota would move him around. And this was coming from an offense that didn't even really throw the ball. Like their offense was predicated on running the ball, but they would try to figure out ways to get him the ball. And even if he only saw 6 touches a game, he was able to knock off some dynamic plays. So yeah, that's part of my frustration with the offense there. But defensively, what do you feel like they could have done different defensively? Do you think it was more, a personnel issue that we looked at, or was it coaching?
I feel like it's somewhere in the middle because, like, I mean, after a while, you realize the soft zone that you're playing, you got to get out of that because it wasn't working. It was too much cushion because they weren't getting beat over the top. They weren't getting beat down the field. It was just consistently 7, 8, 9, 10 yard shots because you're playing 8 to 10 yards off the ball.
Which didn't make
So it's
sense.
just all quick hitters, and I feel like they just never left. They stayed there. They stayed there.
Which didn't
So
make sense if you knew
eventually,
they were
like,
going to throw. Like, and I'll get your input on this too. Is like, which that didn't make sense to me because you knew they were going to try to get the ball out quick. Like I could see giving
right, you knew their O line is down and hurt. You know they're not going to sit there and try to hold the ball. So why are you playing right into that game plan?
that's the shit.
But even in instances where he did hold the ball, I mean the D line wasn't generating any pressure.
Yeah, it
I
wasn't
mean
nothing.
he never really had to move off his spot.
Right.
Receivers are running open. Tight end was running open all day.
Gosh, man. It's just a lot of
He
miscommunication.
couldn't figure out how to stop Joe Mixon. Like he just running in between the tackle. Like, and this running offense haven't done anything all year, and they just
Right.
came here like they
And
a running machine.
and to our credit, the run defense for us been pretty good, and yes, Daquan Jones was out, and I know he's been big for us all year, but I'm telling you right now, I don't give a damn. When it's playoff time and we sitting here preaching obviously next man up, bro, I need, and I know Jordan Phillips was obviously out there at about 70%, but bro, I need that line. The line to me was the biggest disappointment of the playoffs, but I
Mm-hmm.
need that line because think about it, even in the Miami game, that was more the linebackers generating pressure. So, like, from a disappointment standpoint, it's really the line for me. And again, we know no Von Miller, we know no Daquan Jones last week. But you still got Greg Rousseau, you still got Shaq Lawson, you still got Boogie Basham, you still got AJ Epinesa, you still got Ed Oliver, you still got Tim Settle. Like,
First and second round picks all around.
but that's what I'm saying. And we talked about that. Like, we talked about whether it was last week or the week before, sooner or later, we're going to need to see something from these early draft picks. And it was something that I think the reporters, was talking to Bean about in the press conference. Was like, hey, last few drafts, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this guy? What's your thought? Because after a while, it's either the scouting isn't as good as it should be, or we not developing talent like we should. Like maybe the positional coaches ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, whether it's the D-line coach, whether it's the wide receiver coach. Well, I think Chad Hall does a pretty good job, so I won't go that far. But like whether it's the D-line coach or whatever, like what do we need to do to shake shit up? Because we can't be spending first and second rounders on these positions and they can't even make impactful plays. Like I'm cool with Epinesa having 6.5 sacks this year. All right, that's decent. Ed Oliver had a down year for me, like all together. Like he had his moments, but how many times have we said Ed Oliver has moments? I'm looking for 17 games in the playoffs. And if there's 17 games in the playoffs, so we play 18, 19 games, guess how many sacks I need, and guess how many TFLs I need from Oliver? I need at least about 8 or 9 sacks, and I need at least about 10 to 15 TFLs. So from a development standpoint, like, are we doing what we need to do? Or are we just missing it in the scouting area where we choosing the wrong guys? Like, I don't know. Like, that's the frustrating part for me because I'm like, it ain't like being a missed on all his draft picks because you can look at them all from the time he got here, from the Taron Johnsons to the Tremaine Edmonds to the shit. I think Kyrie Allen was a good first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more hits than misses. It's
For
just,
sure, for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they've been running it back for so long, and I feel like it's not working. It
Mm-mm.
hasn't worked. Like
Not
you
with that
can't
group.
keep running back with the same roster and expect a different result at this point. So something's got to give. I mean, you got a bunch of pending free agents. I mean, you gonna pony up money and put it into the same defense that hasn't been,
Yeah,
really getting the job done, or
yeah.
we gonna
That's what I
pony
said.
up and get another receiver or what? Because like again, what y'all been putting it at, it's not working.
Right, because at the end of the day, I think the discussion is, and I think we've talked enough about, whatever we think of the game, because like I said, we don't, it ain't too much to talk about. We lost by 17. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it comes down to, is it personnel or is it coaching? Plain and simple. Is it us not developing players the way we need to, or is it coaching? Is it these players just ain't good enough? So I think all the way around, and I know we rotate the D line, and I know we do all of that stuff, but so does Philly, right? Philly rotate guys in and out. Guess what? Them motherfuckers got 75 sacks and counting. Bro,
Right.
bro. I saw that stat the other day because I haven't watched Philadelphia too much. I only watch them here and there for fantasy football reasons
Yeah,
during
they
the
got
season.
four or five players over 10
They got
sacks.
five players over 10 sacks.
Yeah, that's nuts. We don't have any.
Bro.
Not one.
And you had what, 6 games without Von Miller towards the end of the
Yeah,
season.
Von
So
would have hit 10,
right,
but
right. And
he
so
didn't.
right. So we'll obviously leave out Von, but so Von left, he gave y'all boys an opportunity, and none of y'all took it and ran with it. Like I said, all of them boys showed flashes, but when you trying to make the Super Bowl, like when you trying to win that Lombardi, bro, all that I'm gonna show up every 4 games don't cut it, man. And that's my only frustration with the defense, because I'm like, statistically under Leslie Frazier, I don't think this defense will ever fall out of the top 5. I mean, they did the one year when we had a bad offense, but that was we can just toss that one out. But the track record for Leslie and his defense is pretty good. My only beef is the big plays. Like, I need more big plays going into next year from a sack total standpoint, from a turnover standpoint. I need more consistency with the rotation when it comes to CB2. Like, I don't need you to keep alternating, and that's the shit that pisses me off with the coaching staff. I don't need y'all to keep rotating Kyrie Elam and Dane Jackson all game. Like, that is super annoying. Like, we talked about it on this podcast at least for about a month and a half, but like, what are you doing? Like, how do you know you're not messing up the flow just by doing something like that? So I just think it's some questionable coaching decisions that got to be looked at, and man, maybe a bunch more personnel. Like, I know what they said is like 20 or so pending free agents, so we know about a third of the roster is going to be changing. But it's like, damn, bro, from Super Bowl favorites to losing in the divisional round, that just ain't
Yep.
it. That just ain't it. That ain't gonna cut it. And that's why I don't try to tell fans how to feel. Like, fans been on the radio or online, they've been going off, and I don't try to say too much unless somebody really asks my opinion. Like, I work at Orchard Park, so people ask me my opinions on things. Had a brief talk with a guy today, and he asked me about a couple things, and I told him how I felt, but it was like, I ain't got much to say. It's like it's gonna be up to them. Like, we as fans can talk all we want to, right? Shit, we fans. We go to games, we watch them, pay money to see them in live, see them in person. We sit back at home, we watch them. It's on them motherfuckers in that building, man. You were Super Bowl favorites, bro. You were super, for the first time in my life, as a fan that could obviously remember shit. Not when I
Walk.
was 5, 6 years, right? Not when I was 3 or 4 years old and y'all was going to back to back to back. But for the first time in my life that I could remember, y'all were Super Bowl favorites. And the way that ended, you know what I mean? So looking ahead, man, because we're gonna get right to it. As I always say, we ain't gonna hold y'all. Top two things you feel like they need to change going into next year.
Bro, I don't even know yet, dog. I'm still in such a dark place right now, dog. uh Man, I don't even know.
Ain't get there yet, right? It's cool. I'll tell you, all right. I don't
man,
know about a couple things, but
yeah, we need more talent at the receiver position. I mean, even last year I was banging on the wall for a first round receiver.
right,
I feel like the writing needs to be on the wall here. Like it needs to happen.
yeah,
That position needs to be. I mean, I don't want to say a complete overhaul, but there needs to be more of an influx of young talent at that position. So find me a young top end draft pick at that position.
yeah.
Um, Need an upgrade at O line.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
I'm tired of seeing clips of motherfuckers getting thrown back around or thrown around.
yeah, just getting pushed around, just
Mm-mm.
just
Hell no,
manhandled, and
hell,
it's just
man, come on.
again.
That's,
I mean, I at this point, all I care about is offense because again, we've had the best defense or close to the best defense in the league for years now, and that means nothing. So if you want to put all your money behind Josh, which you already have, you surround that man with literally as much talent as humanly possible. And when you feel
right,
like you do that, you add even one more person.
right.
Add receivers, add tight ends, add another running back. I don't care. You just keep
Yeah.
keep stockpiling. Like I
Draft
should
and
have,
free agency.
yeah, I should have a legitimate 5, 6 legitimate NFL wide receivers on that roster.
What do you think
Not
about
just not just guys. I need people that can ball.
what you think about DJ Moore?
I'll be all for it. I mean,
Okay,
I love his
I've
skill
seen his
set.
name come up. I just don't know. Obviously, as like everything else, money wise, like what that would look like. But I've seen his
Figure it out.
name pop up. Like I'm not a big fan of the whole Hopkins conversation that some fans want to have because like we're not putting two wide receivers on the team who are the same age and who going to demand the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like D Hop the player a lot. I just don't
Right.
like D Hop the 30-year-old receiver
Yeah,
with
no.
this team. I need a young guy. I need a young fresh dude coming in the league ready to prove himself.
Right.
And
Right.
DJ Moore would fit into that description for
Right.
me.
Because DJ
I
Moore
don't care about the price tag.
right.
Just go make it happen. I
Figure some
mean,
shit
that's
out.
another dog.
Right. And
Yeah,
plus
he
you
got
gotta
and
look
then that's another.
and you gotta look at a guy like
He got
him.
that.
He got that dog in him,
Yeah,
but you gotta look at a receiver like him. And the Jets got a couple too that might, be out there in the market. But a receiver like him is probably looking for the opportunity to have a
yeah.
quarterback.
A DJ Moore style player, I would absolutely welcome him on this team because again, that's another alpha, another hell of a player, another great contested catch receiver.
As many
Go up and
dogs.
get it over the top, screen, whatever you want to do. He can do everything on the field. So that style of player, absolutely. I mean, again, what we've been doing now has not been working. You've been paying a receiver and not saying they've been going bottom of the barrel for the rest. But again, there's nothing wrong with having more than one top tier receiver on your team.
Nah, man, it's obvious they need it because it's obvious teams have gone into some mode of thinking that they can just try to bracket Diggs and that be the game
Yeah.
plan. It's like,
Because right now, the way the last couple seasons have ended, it's going to be a lot of doubters on this team, and rightfully so. I mean,
yeah,
this in the offseason, Bill's going to take a shit ton of heat. Josh Allen going to take
I
a
love it.
shit ton of heat, but it's going to be warranted.
Right, and I'm cool with it, man. Oh, he turned the ball over too much. Cool. I'm with all of that shit. Fix it. That's what I always say. Like one thing I always say in the offseason that I try to give Josh credit for is that he'll see something that he needs to fix. And normally 9 times out of 10, he'll do better at that. So
Mm-hmm.
like
He put the work in.
right. So I'm looking for him this season once he obviously heals and all of that, is to say, boom, I got to take better control. I gotta be a better point guard. You know what I mean? Like, of course,
Right.
you can't control when pressure is in your face and et cetera, but I gotta be a better facilitator. And I can't give the other teams because the last thing I want on him to be labeled as, and for him to like go downward in is the turnover issue. Like, I don't want that to be a trend where like, oh, now that Dable's gone, Allen is a turnover disaster. Like, that's the one thing I want him to focus on, because it's not even so much the interceptions, because if you throw the ball 42
It's the
times,
fumbles.
right.
Bro, just hold the ball. That's the
It's a
biggest
combination,
thing.
right? Because I mean, he has 6 games with two or more picks, and then on top of that, had I think double-digit fumbles. You know, and I know he only lost like 5 or 6, but you can't put the ball on the ground more than 10 times. I mean, you really shouldn't put the ball on the ground at all. But we know at his position, and it has
Yeah, when he get the ball in his hand so much, he's more susceptible because
right,
he does have so many throws and carries. So again, his
right,
numbers will be higher
yeah,
than most because he's
right.
such
They're
a
more
big part of the offense.
right,
However, he's still too careless with the ball.
right.
But like at the end of the day, I don't think like major overhaul and coaching is necessary right now.
Mhm.
Like I don't think they need to go fire Frazier, fire Dorsey, fire him, fire her. Like I don't think it's to that extent, but this is the last leg in my opinion. If
So,
y'all keep the ship the same coaching wise and
mhm.
nothing changed next year,
Last, oh yeah,
somebody got to go.
we shaking shit up. Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel too. Like, I don't necessarily feel like this is the last leg. Like, I know we were Super Bowl favorites. Disappointment altogether for not getting to obviously where we need to be. But I do feel like this is a great moment to really look in the mirror. Like, I think last year, the whole 13 seconds thing, that was in a way eye-opening, but I think this is more eye-opening because you didn't just lose in overtime, like you literally lost and got manhandled.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope,
It was never close.
knowing McDermott, he really hired on people and hired on himself, knowing Bean, how he normally is when it comes to attacking areas where we show weakness. Hopefully Frazier, I just need everybody collectively, like from the players that are coming back and to the coaches, I hope they can look at themselves and say, what can I do to make sure that when we get back into this, because we're going back to the player, as long as Josh is healthy and playing, and
Right.
our core guys are back, we're getting back to the playoffs. So I need the conversation to be with each player, with each coach, with each person inside that building to be, what can I do to be better? So that when we get back in this game, when we get back to the 2 seed, when we get back to the 3 or the 1 seed, wherever we at, what can I do to make sure we don't get embarrassed like that? Because like I said, I get it. We went through a lot, right? Emotionally, the players physically were playing. I mean, we had key guys who didn't miss any time but played through injuries all year. We know that. We know Josh was one of them. Jordan Phillips, as I mentioned. Greg Rousseau at a point was playing through some stuff.
Jordan Poyer been hurt since week 2.
Right.
Literally.
Jordan Poyer, we know Gabriel Davis early was playing through stuff. Um, I mean, the list goes on, but it just comes down to, okay, what are we really going to focus on, and what am I going to do to be better? And then from a management standpoint, what can we do to make sure that the pieces around Josh and defensively, what can I do to make sure that we get the right kind of guys so we can play the defense that we want to play? Okay, if you want to rush 4 and you don't really want to blitz, let's take a deeper look at our top 9 guys on the D line and say, okay, what tweaks we got to make? Who coming back? Who not? Who out there in the free agent market that would love to play for the Buffalo Bills? Because the one thing I will still give the Bills is that they still are a destination place where 4 or 5 years ago, Buffalo was at the last of the list because it was like, yeah, it's cute, but they got a rookie quarterback and whatever. They are still in position to grab key guys who may take lower money. Like we just saw last year how we had a bunch of free agents come. A lot of niggas came on either 1 or 2 year deals, and they were just like, shit, I'm just trying to be a part of what y'all doing because it looked like y'all got something special. So I still feel like majority of players in the league feel that way. Obviously they lost a little bit of that by getting hit like that, but you got a franchise quarterback, you got a good solid coach. If Tremaine Edmonds comes back, you got two two Pro Bowl, two All Pro type linebackers. You still got All Pro Trey back there. Still got a young buck and Kyer Elam coming back, Benford coming back. Like they still got some great players. So I don't want to make it seem like kind of like what you said that they got to do a bunch of different changes, but it's a good time to just dig deep, for the next 8 to 10 weeks, because we know that free agency period. It seemed like it come in the blink of an eye. Like once the Super Bowl come, it's like boom, niggas already talking about, well, this month he not coming back, this person not coming back. Well, it looks like such and such might be headed here. Like that shit comes quick.
Right.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna see what happens. But I don't got too much else to say about this game and about this season. I think we had a great time covering as much as we could in 9 months, man. So, any favorite parts of the season for you? And we'll end it like that, and we'll cut it off in a few minutes. But any favorite parts from the season before we, wrap shit up?
Yeah, I mean, the whole year I've been saying enjoy the ride. So, having 13-3 season is fun. It's fun being on the winning side more often than not. So, seeing this team fight and claw and scrape when necessary, it's good to see my team be able to, have that fight mentality and still able to put up 30 plus on any given day. Watching Josh is still a pleasure. Like we still got a freak of all freaks in the league. So seeing him play, seeing number 40 in a Bills jersey is still crazy to believe. So just seeing him in action when he was nice, man. Just remembering how the season started in LA, the energy and excitement, and then flipping that into busting Tennessee ass week 2. Man, it started out so well, but I mean, it's good to see. I'm hoping Josh can take another step because again, this team goes as far as he can take them. So, the good thing is as long as he's the quarterback and doesn't take any dramatic steps back, we know this team always has a chance to win, always has a chance to actually get to and win the Super Bowl because you have one of the few elite quarterbacks in the league. So, I'm just trying to have some hope and faith that the team can do what they need to do to, field a better roster, better talent. Because again, it's not from lack of trying. It's not like they're out here playing scared. They're spending the money. They have a extensive coaching roster that is one of the most experienced in the league and one of the highest paid in the league. So it's not like they're cutting corners. They just really gotta do some self-evaluating and figuring out what they gotta do to improve. But, it was a fun ride while it lasted. Entertaining team.
Right.
Watching James Cook start to develop and get loose a little bit as the season went on. Watching Steph Diggs be Diggs. Finally seeing Milano get some of the national recognition he's deserved.
Pro.
Watching Trey White get back on the field.
Right.
There's definitely been some highlights, but, at the end of the day, it did end in disappointment. And, we're back in the same spot as, there's always next year, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you on most of that. I mean, the start of the year was amazing. It was my first time being in California, so to be able to go to LA personally was one of my favorite moments. Just being a part of opening NFL weekend. Like I never thought I would be at a game where essentially I'm there to start the season like everybody else. So like to be there for that moment, go back home for the Tennessee game, the home opener, be there for that moment. First year being able to go to all the home games. Shout out to the family, shout out to the gang. I just really think that kind of like you said about enjoying the ride, like we preach that all year because like you just never know. Like it could be the year that you go to the Super Bowl, and that's what I thought. I'm like, hey, this is gonna be our first year recording, and we're gonna make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Like I had all of those lovely thoughts in my head. So boom, it didn't happen. All right, cool. But I enjoy breaking it down, especially with you, Z, man. Shout out to you
Absolutely.
for working through this vision with me. I know we just kind of, putting this shit together for fun, really. And that's what I try to emphasize for a lot of people is like we doing this shit out of just the love for the Buffalo Bills. To two inner city cats who have grew up in homes where shit, it was nothing but Bills on TV. So we ain't had no choice. You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh, I'm a root for the Vikings and maybe I'm a root for the Cowboys next week, man. We grew up in Buffalo Bills households, blue, red, and white. And it's been a pleasure to be able to talk about these boys every week. Like I said, in a perfect world, perfect ending, we would have won it all. I mean, the story was there, like from everything that happened. We don't got to get into it, but from everything that happened over the last 10 months, it was like, oh yeah, this is bound to happen, right? Like, we're gonna hold the trophy, DeMar gonna be on the side. Like, it's just come on, like it's what movies is about. But
Right.
I'm a spiritual person too, and I always believe God is always in control, and He has His own script. He has His own plans. Like whatever we think, whatever we want to happen, sometimes ain't always going to happen. And it wasn't our time. It wasn't the player's time. It wasn't Josh's time to be that guy. So we'll have to watch. Unfortunately, another quarterback, another team hold that trophy up. But hopefully, once again, it's extra motivation. I know these guys, they professional athletes who practice hard every single day. And we thought they worked hard last year. And maybe this is going to be another fire to get Diggs going again, to get Josh fired up again. Because once they say, okay, this is the winner, and it's Joe Burrow, or it's Patrick Mahomes, or it's this and that, hopefully, once again, boom, it lights that flame again. It's like, all right, bet. I'm going to rest out for the next 4 weeks, and I'm back at it, and I'm causing hell for the next 10 months. And honestly, I still think they got the core guys to do it. Can you sprinkle in some players here and there that want to be Buffalo Bills, that want to contribute? I'm sure they can. Because like I said, the best thing we got going for ourselves is that we are no longer a bottom 5 destination. Even with this snow and even with all of that shit, people see the chemistry with this team. They see the top 5 quarterback. They see the elite wide receiver. They see the elite corner, elite linebackers. And they just see, I think, the chemistry. And they probably like, man, listen, if I'm a free agent and my team don't want me, shit, let me see what them Bills talking about. Because at least I know they got a fan base that's going to ride. I know they got a community that's going to stick together, in the toughest of times. So I say all that to say, man, I'm still proud to be a Bills fan. Everybody know from the videos to the pictures that we post that we wear that shit on our sleeve. And that's
Yeah,
one of the best things
absolutely.
about being a Bills fan to me. Like I put away I ain't put away half of my Bills clothes, but I put away maybe like 10 items, put them in the bin. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, see, I'll see this bin back in June or July, but bittersweet. But bro, we gotta do it, man. It go back to real life. And what I want people to focus on is not the negative shit, not the I don't know if you've seen the conspiracies and shit. You
The what
probably
shit?
conspiracies.
Man, nah, bro, man. I'm not on. I don't know nothing about all
Yeah.
that. No, man.
You should
I
talk to
don't know
your
nothing
brother
about.
about that, man. I know he would have a field day with that shit. But they over there talking about DeMar not alive, and that was his clone at the game. And at the NFL, listen, it's bad. Yo, I'm glad you ain't been on line for real the last 24
Nah,
hours.
bro. I've been off the grid.
Bruh,
You know what? Hearing that, I
bruh,
don't even want to. I don't even want to check nothing.
don't check it because it's gonna get you tight. Because I was at first not really looking into shit, but I happened to look into some comments from one of his posts or somebody else's posts, and I'm like, oh no, nah, they dead ass. Like they serious. Oh, why didn't he show his face? Oh, why was he covered up? Why hasn't he done any interviews? Why this? Why that? The NFL is just a show. Da, 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 da. I'm like, so y'all really just stupid? Like, we going this far? Okay. But anyways, yeah. So again, forget all the negative stuff. Even the Eli Apple shit. I don't even know if you saw that. Forget
Nope.
all
I
that.
don't know nothing about nothing. I'm good.
That's good though. But yeah, forget all the negative stuff. Let's focus on the positive. I think that the Bills have done a beautiful job of being a beautiful distraction for many. And that's all I can leave with, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, I get in preaching mode, but Any last
Yeah,
words you
but
want to
either
hit
way,
on?
we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna put a bow on this season. We're
Yeah, season
gonna
one. Well, season one for us, but you know,
yeah, end the season one for us, but we're gonna put a bow on it, and we're gonna take a couple weeks off, regroup, but we'll be
yeah,
back in a couple weeks,
yeah,
and we'll
we'll
be
be back
ready.
soon.
We're gonna be
Soon, man. Free agency is right around
ready
the
for some
corner.
free agency prep, some draft stuff, some things we're gonna be looking forward to. So we're not going away. We're just taking a little break, recoup, recover.
Little breaky break. You know what I mean? Little fake off season, but we will be back. And like you said, it's gonna be straight diving into next season mode. Like
Yes.
once that Super Bowl trophy get lifted, all the other 31 teams is like, I bet. I mean,
That's
some of
how to
them
work.
already on it. Some already on it. You know, they doing their coaching decisions and all of that. But like for real, I know for me personally, once I see that trophy lifted, I'm in straight go mode. I bet. Where we at? Who we doing? Who we
Right.
grabbing? Shit. Oh, he a free agent too? I bet. Let him know. Bills Mafia, what's up? So
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. You know, it's been fun. Like I said, Z, I appreciate you for joining me every week and allowing us to,
Absolutely.
share this space with the people who tune in. Like I said before, I don't care if it's 4 people or 14. I appreciate all of our listeners, everybody that shared, even if it was a 10-second clip, anybody that shared anything, anybody that took a chance to listen. We did 40 episodes. This will be the 41st. So even if you only listen to one episode, salute. We just out here having fun with it. Like we're gonna work on some small stuff. We're gonna have some more guests because obviously we still have people that we've been trying to get on, but every week is different. We adults, we got lives, and some of our weeks don't all look the same. So we still got some people lined up to chop it up with us, and we got another season to look to. And like I said, I wish our first year recording was going to be a Super Bowl year.
Would have
But
been nice.
it would have been nice,
But
but God had other plans.
yeah, that ain't how the cards fell. But it's all good, man. We're gonna get back at it, keep plugging away. That's all we know how to do, dog.
That's all we know how to do. But again, y'all, we appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Y'all go ahead and enjoy the Super Bowl however y'all may. If it's squares that you do, if it's FanDuel or Caesars betting, do what you
If
got.
it's ignoring the whole world of
All
football, act
right.
like it don't
That
exist like
too. Yeah.
me,
If you want to just sit back and
you
watch
know,
a movie or
yeah,
turn your
or that.
TV, turn your phone
I'm
off.
I'm knee deep in Saber stuff right now, dog. I'm just acting like football's not a thing.
Sabres scare me too,
I'm
bro. They
hop
ball
back
a
into
little
my Premier
better.
League soccer. anything but football right now. But
Yeah,
that's how I numb the pain. So whatever, call
yeah,
it what you want.
college basketball is normally my next thing. I think Cuse right now playing North Carolina, so I'll probably check that out. But yeah, man, whatever you got to do. But I always tell people this too, man. Always remember that life is bigger than sports. We can
Not
love,
even close. Not
yeah,
even close.
we can love our favorite sports team, but focus on life, man. When it's all said and done, you still got to focus on what's around you. Focus on your other goals that you might have. Because I know for me, after 24 hours, I went straight to my goals. I was like, all right, boom. What was them goals that I set for myself back in December, back in January? Let's refocus. Let's get this shit done. Let's do what I need to do to get that stuff knocked out because we got a long year ahead. We got 11 more months left for this year. So it's like knock out your goals. Make sure your kids is good if you got kids. Make sure your parents is good if you got parents still alive. Yeah, man, just live life, man. It's more to life than this. Unfortunately, we dive in and we have fun with it. Blah rah 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 rah. It's cool, but when it's over, remember, it's just a game. And there's more to life than football. There's more to life than basketball, or whatever your favorite sport is. There's more to life. So just focus on the positive. And like I said, and I say it all the time, there's 31 other teams that ain't gonna win the Super Bowl this year. We not alone. So
Right.
let's focus on the positive and shit, man. Hopefully we will catch up with a lot of y'all soon, and we look forward to really joining y'all and making this a thing. So again, this is Val.
And Zyrus, man, we'll catch y'all soon.
Peace out. Enjoy y'all break. Enjoy y'all Super Bowl, and We'll catch y'all after the SB.
Absolutely. Love y'all.
Peace out.